Okay, I'm just going to give you a wee refresh on how to create an assembly file and talk you through the assembly constraints that you need to be aware of. So this is a stool we're creating, so we'll go into SolidWorks. I've opened up an assembly file and I'm going to browse for my first component. So for this, I'm going to choose the leg of the stool as my first component. When I place the first component in, it's important that we have it sitting correctly on the page. So at the moment, I can place it anywhere on the page. However, once I've placed it, I can no longer move it, which is not ideal because we want to make sure a couple of things are correct. So on the modeling tree, just right click on the component and tell it to float. That allows me to be able to move that about. I'm now going to use my first mate. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mate this stool onto the top work plane. So I'm going to click on top work plane and I'm going to tell it to mate to the bottom of this stool leg, and we're going to use the tangent constraint for this. Just click that on like so. If I just rotate, so you can see it's sitting on the top work plane. Hopefully you can sort of see it's at that height. Confirm, cross that off, and then in the modeling tree I'm just going to fix that in place. So I'm quite happy now that that stool leg is sitting in the right position. Let's insert another component. Let's go for the seat. There we go. So pop that in, and as you might have seen if you've started to look at this project, the seat has a couple of holes on it which align with the holes on the stool leg. So we're going to use the mate tool. Be very careful when you're using the mate tool you've not got anything selected, and I am going to use concentric because what we're going to do is we're going to align the center of this hole with the center axis of this hole in here. So you can see how I'm zooming right in here. So I've got the correct thing selected. Zoom back out and confirm. I'm just going to come out of the mate tool a moment just to show you that although that is aligned correctly, if I zoom in here, you can see how that's aligning. It's not aligned with the other hole. So we just repeat that process again using concentric, which is basically aligning the center axis of this hole with the center axis of this hole. And that's almost there. We just need to make sure we get this stool seat sitting at the right height because at the moment it's not actually touching. So mate, and this time we're going to use that tangent tool. There it's there. And we're going to tell this curved surface to be at a tangent to the underneath flat surface, like so. Confirm. So I'm quite happy now that we've used that those constraints and we've got that sitting on there. Let's insert another component. Let's browse and let's maybe add in the, come out of what I needed there, so we'll just go back in. So we're going to add on the foot of the stool here. So we're just going to the foot. It's quite a small little component, so when we add it, it'll be fairly small. So I'm just going to sit it about there. And if I just zoom in here, a couple of wee constraints, we're going to go mate. And I'm going to use that concentric one again, because what I want to do is I want to align the center axis of this with the center axis of this groove here, and confirm. And at the moment I can still move this about, so which is not ideal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use mate, and I'm going to tell the bottom of the little foot to mate with the top work plane. And it's going to kind of zoom off in a direction there, but don't panic. All it's done is align that so it's sitting exactly on the top work plane, but we just need to adjust exactly where we want it. Now, there's nothing else we can do at the moment because we don't know exactly where it needs to be. We could maybe mate this surface here to this edge here, for example, but at the moment I'm not too fussed. So those are the main constraints that you need to be aware of when you are putting together your assembly file for the stool.